Recording in progress. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the October 7th card meeting. All these meetings are recorded and posted to YouTube later. So if it's something you don't want recorded, don't want shared, keep it to yourself, or in a rare case, we can edit it out later. So I'm Roger Rayle. I'm Chair of CARD and Chair of Sire Residents for Safe Water. And this is going to be a relatively quick meeting because we have some people missing and there's been a little bit of news, mostly good, that we get through pretty quick. This might be a record short meeting, perhaps. So also, Jack isn't here to moderate it, so Rita is going to take care of moderating it. But first, let me share my screen. So we have to have approval of the minutes now. Beth is our secretary, but this is her last meeting as secretary. She's been warning about this for more than a year. So we're struggling to find somebody to take over some of the duties, and some of that's done with some AI assistance, so it's a little bit easier than it used to be. But right now, Beth is going to go through the vote of the previous month's minutes.
Thank you, Roger. So the minutes have been in the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the September minutes?
So moved.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Is there anyone opposed? Speak up. No, then the minutes are approved. And then I just posted that the election, the board members were passed unanimously. So thank you for, yeah. I'll still attend meetings, hopefully, and I'd love to see this cleaned up. So thanks for having me be your secretary. I'm sorry to abandon you.
We're going to have a celebration for Beth. Sometime we'll be in person, but next meeting we have to get something special done.
No. Well, when I come back in person, we'll do the session room or something.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Thanks for all your efforts, Beth. It's been great working with you and a real resource. And I'm sure they're glad to have you down there in North Carolina.
Thanks. I'm excited, but I'll miss you guys. This has been fun. And I'm going to turn it over now to Rita, who's going to moderate the meeting for us. Thanks, Rita.
Okay. Well, I don't see anyone from the EPA. If someone's from the EPA who I don't see, speak up.
No, but Georgia's here.
But Georgia is here from Representative Dingell's office. So Georgia, do you want to give us any news?
Well, what I am about to say, I think will be pretty obvious. But this is week 2 of the federal government shutdown. I guess the most recent update would be that the House is in recess this week, which indicates to us that Republican leadership doesn't plan on bringing folks back to negotiate. And if they were serious about that, then House members would have been instructed to remain in DC this week, and they weren't. So that means folks are kind of all over the place. Of course, the Senate has been voting on their version of the CR for quite a while now, with not very many changes to the overall vote count. So to say that our office or me specifically has any actual insight or reliable prediction of when this will be lifted is that would be too presumptive. As you might be aware, most of the federal agencies publicly publish their contingency plan, just, code word for, sorry if you can hear my cat scratching below me, contingency plan code for shutdown plan, in the case that appropriations lapse, which they have right now. If you've not seen EPA's, I'd recommend taking a look at it. I'm going to put it in the chat. The PDF version of it, once I can figure out how to get there on my computer. I've been having a lot of fun with my laptop recently because I can't type the letter T. The T key is gone, so that's just been slowing me down.
Wait a minute, which letter is gone?
A T, which, believe it or not, the letter T is in a lot of words.
You think?
Yes, but I'll get that fixed soon. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that folks saw that. There are parts of the Superfund program that are not funded by House appropriation or Congress appropriations in general. It's from other programs. So there are parts of the program that don't lapse in the case that that Congress doesn't pass a budget and something that the president doesn't sign. So that's not necessarily something that is going to have a huge impact, though, of course, basically like every federal agency, EPA will determine what exactly is a threat to life and property and continue those activities and cease basically everything else. For example, I am the person on our team who helps out with IRS related casework, and at 5 p.m. today, IRS was like, we don't have the money to keep these people on staff, and the entire agency basically shut down. So that's the state that plenty of our agencies are in, except for the fee-based agencies, which means that, when folks pay for their services and use them for that reason, those agencies are almost entirely funded by the fees they collect from folks that use them instead of appropriations from Congress. Yep, I just wanted to make sure I provided an update on that, since there are plenty of agency programs that have come to a grinding halt or will be in the case that appropriations aren't passed in the near future. And please let us know if you have any questions, though of course our ability to get those questions answered is limited, since those folks on the other end of our emails might have already been reduced as part of workforce reductions, or they might be furloughed right now. So agencies are tough to get a hold of, but just wanted to provide that information.
Oh, wow. Well, I stand corrected about it all being mostly good news that was going to come up with. So, yeah. Are you getting the rest of the staff getting paid?
We will get back pay. We are working without pay right now, and in the case that the government isn't funded by the end of the month, then we won't be paid on time. Congressional employees all around are paid on a monthly schedule. So in the case it doesn't open soon, then we won't get that. But we will get back pay.
Well, we got to get this. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Georgia, for all your work and all your dealing with all the problems that the government has, and we're working, trying to get things going, and hopefully it'll happen.
Somehow we're going to get through this.
Yeah, well, it's good to have the news from your office, and we appreciate it. And so I assume then, are you saying you are furloughed or you are not furloughed?
Not furloughed.
Not furloughed. Okay.
Almost all of our activities in our office will remain the same through a shutdown. It's just that we won't be paid on time. And also, of course, our work with the agencies is very different depending on what agency you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming to our meeting.
Yeah.
I'm sure that things are not easy at this time. So we do appreciate it, and we do appreciate the continued efforts and attention that we've gotten from Representative Dingell over the years, and continuing to see it even in this time.
So are you on a laptop?
Yes.
Get another keyboard, a remote keyboard, and plug it in.
Well, I actually am going to be able to get it fixed. We have a technical administrator who's gonna get it fixed
Okay,
for
and
me.
they're
It's
not
just
laid
that,
off. That's good.
well, yes, and I mean in the next few days or so, it's
Yeah.
just been a problem for like a week, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
a fix
yeah.
is coming for the tea.
Yeah, I found out how much I rely on a certain key, control key on my laptop that cracked, and it's crazy. I have to undo things. Anyway, thanks for that update.
Yeah. Thanks. And I don't see, so any other questions for Georgia? Thanks. Okay, so I don't see Dan Bignell on.
No,
So I guess we move on to EGLE updates, and Chris is not on, and I don't know that if
I
he
have an
sent in
update for.
anything. Oh, you
I,
do?
I,
Okay, good.
I have his update, and it's going to go pretty quick. He took all of these points and put it in a sheet, and
Did you attach the sheet?
I'm
No.
going to show it to you, and then it will be attached when I'm done because I got
Okay, good. With
for
the
the meeting.
minutes. Okay, good.
Let's see, where did I put it now? Uh, that's mine. Go back to this one. This is his. Okay, so it's basically, I think these are the same headings that were on the. So it's basically nothing to report on items A through I on the agenda. But he does have this couple notes here. Uh, for the Slauson wells that are part of the geothermal system, Gelman has agreed to sample those. He says that EGLE will sample that this month, October 22nd, and then turn over the future sampling responsibility to Gelman. So that's good that we're going to, those two nested wells in the Evergreen area or in the Slauson area are going to be sampled going forward. And again, those are the ones that are here by Slauson School, these red ones, which when they were sampled, vertical sampling and the two or three nested uh, the well permanent wells, they had dioxane at every level from 0 down to 30 some feet. So it's important that those are getting sampled. The other one is that they're finally getting their mapping tool updated through with the 2024 data in the coming weeks. And I guess there's a new ESRI experience builder format, which I'm interested in learning about. And we'll get that linked to card when it's ready. So I'll put this the link to this if I haven't already in the agenda, so that it'll be there for future. So that's it for that.
Hey, Roger, can I make a comment?
Yep.
So I think that we need to make sure that we follow up on what's going on in that artesianing well area or artesianing uh, near Slauson and West Park. And we don't want it pipe, moving into the buildings or houses or whatever.
Yeah, and that
Uh,
is in this area that where
yep,
there's
yep.
artesian conditions here.
Yeah, so I have real concerns about all these wet basements in that area. And we really need to keep an eye on that. And
Yep.
I wish we could do a cleanup, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, this was good that we got this
Yep, yep,
and I have something to say about this in the my chair update too, but
yep.
the main thing as I mentioned last time that the pathway that we had for the Allen Creek was a little off center here.
Mm,
But the one we got from Eagle that matches this diagram that we got from the Slauson buildup
mhm,
is this is where the Allen Creek pipes really are.
The pipes.
And these are really close. And this is the TW1 is the one that had, some some double-digit parts per billion. Um, the highest country, I think it was 31 parts per billion, right near the surface, within 5 feet. So it's good that this is being. They got at least these part. We don't have any other permanent shallow monitoring wells down gradient, except for the Eaton wells. But maybe we can get those sampled again too, and put in some other ones that need to be put in. These other locations here are in the aquifer itself. They're not in the shallow groundwater, uh, shallow enough to be exposed to basements.
Well,
So
they'll be testing the Olive Creek through West Park.
yeah, and
For,
I'm
for
hoping, as Dan Bicknell pointed out to me, they should have been doing it this last month when it was almost no
Dry.
rain,
very
Yeah,
dry. It's very dry.
yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
anything watery down there is probably going to have some dioxin in it coming from up gradient.
Mm.
All right. Anything else?
Okay, not hearing anything. Moving on to Washtenaw County, and I think Yusuf, you are still with us. Do you have anything to report?
I'm still with you, but nothing to report on my end. So, unfortunately, no updates.
Okay. Well, thanks.
I have an update from the Washtenaw County that I'll include in my chair updates that I just got today. That has to do with their sampling of homeowner wells for 2026 fiscal year. So I'll go over that during my update.
Well, Yusuf, thanks for serving on the Environmental Council for the Board of Commissioners. Have they actually taken up anything about the Gelman contamination in that council? Because I remember you said it was kind of not on the radar almost.
Yeah, I was. I think what I was suggesting is maybe a hope that there would be a connection between you guys and them, and Michelle Dietrich to schedule a day for that further conversation to happen. And I don't. Nothing has transpired yet on Environmental Council. We've been mostly focused on data centers.
Okay.
Well, once we get the new data set from from EGLE, that would be a good time to do an update for the county commission.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the council, which is it's a subgroup of the commission.
Yeah, maybe start with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be timely, definitely, to do that, and I think that they would appreciate it. We have our next meeting in mid-October coming up, but maybe by the November meeting, we'll be ready to present. And they do have presentations that take up most of the environmental council meeting time, and so I think we would, if the chair granted us that time, then I think we could have a pretty substantial discussion with the environmental council and then get a resolution of some kind, depending on what we want to ask of the board of commissioners. Like, they often will pass a resolution, recommending or suggesting that the BOC takes a certain type of action. For example, the last one we did was on the data centers, like I said, and that we passed an advisory resolution, and the BOC the following meeting passed an actual resolution on data centers. So that if there's something if we're going to present, we should, obviously think of it from an informational standpoint, and then also think about what do we want out of it, if we want a resolution of some kind. So
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea. I mean, I really think you're absolutely spot on that we should look at it more as more than just an informational update, but rather, what do we want to get out of it? So thanks for bringing that up.
yeah,
no problem.
it may be time for a continuing restating of the support for CARD, where CARD actually got set up, and to do that, to reaffirm that, because the EPA is not coming in as fast as we had hoped. And even if it was, we'd still need local people on the ground knowing about this to help the EPA and make sure the right thing happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions for you, Seth? That's great. Thanks again for coming, Yusuf, and for updating us.
No problem.
I don't see anybody from the Water Resources Commission. Okay, don't hear anything. Kristen, are you here? Do you want to
Hi
share
there, I'm
anything?
here.
Great.
It sounds like Roger was going to share our update with his update, so that's fine, or I'm happy to do it here.
This is about the 2026 sampling.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually have I have your map plotted ready to show. So
Okay.
unless you have something else, I think you can wait till I do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other thing was, we heard some of the concern about the house on Blueberry Lane, so we advocated to add that to the 2026 sampling, and EGLE accepted that. So as far as I understand, that'll get added in 2026.
Good.
Oh, thank you. That's good. That's good to know.
Nothing
Yeah.
new from Ann Arbor Township. Mike said he couldn't be here today. So it wasn't anything new anyway.
How about Kathy? Are you still online?
I'm still on,
Oh,
and
wait. Beth
oh,
had her thumb up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it was just a thumbs up, not a hand up. Okay. Sorry.
I don't have any news, nothing new.
Okay. All right, nothing to report. Okay, is Aaron? Did I see Aaron
Yeah,
online?
Aaron's on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm here.
Anything to report? Any news?
So yeah, we have actually Chris Svoboda has tentatively agreed to come speak with the Sustainability Commission for our November 11th meeting. I'm the liaison to the Sustainability Commission, which is now the Energy and the Environmental Commissions have merged, and so those meetings have started. So he'll be presenting at that November 11th meeting. I think
Who's going to present?
Chris from EGLE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be kind of speaking to the residential well testing in 2025, and I think just kind of fielding general questions. And then I met with a group of SEAS graduate students. They had reached out for an interview. They're developing a groundwater strategy plan for the state of Michigan. I know they've spoken with some other folks. I know they spoke with Chris and potentially others on this call. And they're going to be looking specifically at 3 case studies in the state that are dealing with groundwater issues. So I sort of forget their timeline. I want to say they might have something to share next semester. I apologize. I can follow up on that. But yeah, of course, we'll be sharing their final deliverable. And then the comprehensive land use draft. So the 3rd draft is out for review. There is a note about the Gellman plume in there. I worked with the planning folks to get a little informational kind of segment in there. So you can go and check that out. That is, I think that's with Planning Commission right now, actually. They're the meeting started at 5:30. And so they're, I think, going to be voting to move that 3rd draft to approve it to then move on to council, and then there'll be a public review period after that. Let me look at my notes. So they are hoping, so it'll be a 63-day review period, and they are looking to do that kind of after the holiday season. So that would probably begin in January. Yeah, so you can go. That 3rd version's available publicly. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, here's the page that Aaron's talking about when this has been added.
Thank you.
And that link is right there in the on the agenda.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I know James is not on the call, but I know he also really pushed for that. So he is to thank for that.
And then if you want to know more about here's the link to the whole web page set for the city of Ann Arbor on the comprehensive plan. So um, if you want to get the whole history of it and all the appendixes and everything else, this is where you can get to it. Very good.
Great.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Well, thanks for your work on that. I'm sure that no matter how hard James worked on it, it wouldn't happen without some support within the city. So thank you for your work on that.
Yes.
All right. Any questions for Aaron before we move on? Hearing none. Or any other issues for the city of Ann Arbor? People want to bring up? Okay. Hearing none. We'll move on to executive board activities. The first item is about the Yale Superfund Research Program Center, and I did send an email asking for an update from Vasilou, and I did not get a reply, although they still have a web presence and they are still funded by the NIEHS according to the NIEHS website. So I can't really tell you any more than that. I'll keep trying to reach out. I'm still listed on the website as being on their external advisory board, but I don't know anything about what's going on. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. The next item is about the Allen Creek MS4 violation. Here's Jack, James, Roger.
Nothing's happened, but hopefully
Yeah.
we can, with this new set of monitoring there near Slauson, we can get something going on that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty exciting. And then the polluter pay bills update, that usually is James gives us that. I don't know if Yusef, you know anything more about that?
Well, nothing's going on right now for sure.
Oh, nothing. Well, they're back. They got a budget.
Yeah, they've been focused on the budget, so no update on polluter pay. It's been all budget all the time for the last several weeks.
Yeah. Well, do let us know if there's interest activity. I just think, especially given the situation in the federal level, I mean, maybe this is, I don't know, but maybe this is the time we need to push the state to actually come into the 21st century with environmental laws.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I think it's definitely a good time to push. I'm not sure how viable it is, if it's any more viable now than with the Republican House, but definitely a good time to push. I do, on the positive side, I do think, on the not negative side, I will say, positive side, I think EGLE, it was interesting to see EGLE's budget outcome. I thought that they were going to get cut more than they did, but they didn't get cut as much as I thought they would. So not a good thing, but just not a bad thing.
Yeah. Do you remember what percent they got cut or anything like that? I haven't seen those details.
I don't remember, but it was not as much relatively as like some of the other departments.
Okay. Great, thanks.
They mostly in the budget. The vast majority of the cuts were FTEs that were unfilled positions, which a lot of people think like, oh, that's fine, they're unfilled positions, but unfilled positions are, jobs that still need to be done, and oftentimes it's people retire, people move on to another job, and the positions are open, and so now we're eliminating a ton of those, and I'm concerned that what will happen is people will have to do 2 people's jobs, 3 people's jobs, and it means that the work of government still needs to be done, and now there's just less people to do it.
Yeah, and less know-how, a lot of know-how left, so
yeah,
that's a big problem nationally right now. But
yep.
Anyway, good.
Well, I think we've come down. And any other issues that executive board members want to bring up?
I just
Well,
wanted to,
I think we could use some more board members. I know I do. We need to more board members on SRSW. I know that because some of us are aging out, and I'm gonna be tapping some of the local people in the neighborhood to join us on that because we gotta get the next generation or two involved more. So if you got any ideas, some people feed them my way.
yeah, I just wanted to comment that we did do the Green Fair again this year with a fairly good turnout, I thought. It was Roger, Rita, uh,
Jack?
Jackie, and then myself. And yeah, it got a lot of good questions, and people were very concerned about what was going on in their neighborhoods and such. So I thought it was very useful being there and having people stop by and talk with us.
Yeah.
So thanks, Roger, for bringing all this stuff
Yeah, and
to
I
make it
did
happen.
a smaller version of that for the SIO Sustainability Fair just Sunday.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah,
a two
thanks for doing
two-sided
that,
thing.
Roger.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for doing that. You
Oh
did that
yeah,
alone, I think you
I didn't think
said.
I was going to be able to because my son was in for the football game, but he left that morning, so I had time to
I
get over
see.
there and get set up. And it wasn't as elaborate as what we had on the Green Fair, but some of the same stuff.
Mhm.
And we had a number of visitors, but it wasn't as many as I would hoped. But then again, it was such a nice day, you know. But anyway, we got some more word out with some of the locals. Some people that had been involved early stopped by and got caught up a little bit with that. So it was all good. We keep on keeping on. You know, we just got to keep our have enough volunteers to help with events like that, and we'll be fine.
Mhm. Okay, well, we're up to chair updates. Roger?
Okay, let me bring it up here. All right, so I wanted to talk about the 1,000-foot sampling and how that's going with switching to 500 foot and 250 feet. So this is what it presented last month with a 1,000-foot boundary around where dioxin had been discovered. And here's where the new hits are. So I have to move this out a little bit more up here. And turns out the county has done that. They use this criteria. If it's greater than 1 part per billion as a hit, then it's going to be 1,000 feet. If it's between half part per billion and 1 part per billion, then it's going to be 500 feet. Then if it's under half a part per billion, then it's going to be 250 feet. So this is what it looks like in the green areas for 2026 fiscal year. That's where they're going to be sampling to catch properties that had not been sampled recently before. The gray are skipped because they were just recently sampled. They don't have enough. They don't want to have to do, 300 samples each year. So they're going to add these new ones and then go back and do these others at another time. The red dots, or I guess they're really orange, it just showed up right here, are the where the dioxin has been discovered at different levels, at all these different levels of zero point 0.2, 0.12, zero point 0.5, and above. And these other donuts down here at the bottom are the Gelman sampling from um, recent years, where these locations are the one of all the 200 and some locations, these are the ones that in recent years have had their highest ever readings. So you can kind of get an idea that there's some northward movement. And we think that, again, there's a ancestral stream bed that kind of feeds off of this this high concentrations at Evergreen that's making it down to a deeper layer and making it through all of these neighborhoods up here. And this last property is only like 600 feet from the river. Again, the water levels here are 100 to 200 feet below ground. So the dioxide is actually below the surface of the river. It might come up and vent to the river, but it might meander along underneath, maybe even all the way down to where the Ann Arbor water intakes are, so that it might not be diluted as much by the time it gets there as if it was vented right to the river. But anyway, so this is the plan for 2026. Any questions on that before I go on? And this is what Kristen, I think this is your map, Kristen. Um, it's not the full map because there's part of it down here that oops, sorry, not on Google Earth anymore. I do have it on Google Earth too, and there's a couple other areas where you're going to be doing sampling around where there's been some prior hits down by the this area down here by Liberty and also out to the west where they had this hit up in Breezewood. And of course around Evergreen or the Elizabeth and another area here. So it's good that the county and the state are working together on that to make sure that we get some sampling. It's a little disturbing still that these are homeowner wells that are being used to detect where the dioxin is, which is what we had to do back when the dioxin was first discovered. Because what leaked through Gelman's online treatment ponds and spray irrigation got into the groundwater, and there were no monitoring wells. The only wells were drinking water wells, business drinking water wells, and homeowner drinking wells. And we're back to that using homeowner wells again as first detection. And that should not be the case. There should be enough monitoring, real monitoring wells, to know where this stuff is coming from before it gets to this point. But we're here now, and it's, I'm hoping that somebody comes up with a home treatment system that Gelman would pay for, or that these people would be given bottled water so they don't have to, worry about drinking the water and using it for cooking and stuff. But that's where we're at. And it's good that we know that where this is going now. It's obviously that we got some new hits here. Dioxin's going to go where it wants to go. We got to try to catch up with it and make sure that we get the right solution. So the next thing I have are some other notes. We already talked about this where the Ann Arbor's comprehensive land use plan, by the way, this link works too to get to that. And it's, again, includes that dioxane reference that we saw before that was not in the prior drafts. You can read this later and see that okay, now there's a focus here. Thank you, Aaron, for making that happen. I want to try to find and give recognition to whoever arranged for the Slauson geothermal monitoring wells. I'm not quite sure if that was EGLE or the county or somebody else who initiated that, but I think that's really important. That was to have that data, even though it's belated, really makes a difference.
Yeah.
And it's good that Gelman is agreeing to sample those wells. So, but I think we ought to, I want to, if somebody knows how that came about, I would like to see a report on how that happened, how long it took, and um, give recognition to the people who initiated that. Does anybody on screen have any idea?
I
Aaron?
know I know Chris worked really pushed for that. And I know Ann Arbor Public Schools, I think EGLE and AAPS
But somebody had to
did a lot
take
of
the
the work.
initiative. Somebody had to have the wherewithal to say, hey, we're doing this. Maybe we should do this. Put that,
Yeah, I think EGLE and I know Jenny Kahn with the county too was involved in those
yeah.
conversations.
Do you know, Kristen, what the background is on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we certainly permit the geothermal wells. So knowing Slauson and its area, I think we worked closely with Eagle. In terms of Gelman taking it over, that's a conversation that Eagle would have had with Gelman. That's not something we have directly since we're not an intervener. Eagle has those developed relationships. But certainly we advocated to have monitoring wells there for sure.
Yeah. But it's good that somebody paid attention enough to outside their own little bailiwick to know that, hey, there's a connection here to this other issue. Let's try to take care of both, and try to help out each other. And there's so much of that in the history of this site, some of it that I know personally about. Um, that that's the kind of thing that needs to be encouraged, because one entity doesn't have all the answers. You sometimes have to get some lateral help and lateral knowledge in order to make the right decisions. So I just want to point that out. And if any of you find any more details about that by the next meeting, let's put it in a little report to give some recognition and encourage other people to do similarly. Still waiting for the full database of recent year sampling, but according to Chris's update, we're going to get that pretty soon. I would like to be able to talk to the people who are doing the data updating to make sure that just have an understanding of what it takes to do that, why it takes so long. Is it just because it's a new system they're working with, or is it some other thing that we can help streamline? I know initially when the township was doing the sampling, it was given in a format that wasn't fully standardized and it wasn't easy to update and correlate with the locations that had been previously sampled back in the 1995 era. But those are the kind of things that are easily taken care of through data processing, standard operating procedures, and naming conventions and things. So um, I may talk to Chris about that and see if I can have a side meeting with some of the people doing the updating. And this other thing here is from Scioto Township. There's a new proposal for building a development in Parkland Plaza parcel. And they may need to replace some monitoring wells on that. So I'm going to bring up Google Earth and kind of show where that is. First, I need to turn off a couple layers here. And then turn on a new layer. Remember where I put it. So this is basically the property we're talking about. This is what the plan is supposed to look like when it's done. Here's the drawing of the plan, and they're saying there's some monitoring wells here and here. But when I look at the monitoring wells, even with using Eagle's Rockworks data, the locations aren't exactly where we think they are. I'm trusting that they actually have some wellheads here, but let me turn on this well layer so you can see where the wells actually are.
Roger, which plan is this?
Uh, I
What's the
don't
name of
know.
it?
It doesn't have a name on it. It's before the Planning Commission, I guess. I don't know. Bob Hyde was at the sustainable. We were talking about this, so he sent me this late this afternoon, and I got this plotted about this far. But so we got these two wells down here, MW38S and D, which might be these two, but they're hundreds of feet apart. And then there's a one here that I don't know if that's MW20. And then the other curious thing is that there's some up here that look like they're on the property, MW34S and D, but that the people doing this mock-up here either haven't found or don't know about. So I'm proposing that we do a site visit uh, uh, with Bob Hyde, and I go out there and actually look at where these are, and then try to. And we don't have the instrumentation to actually, you know, correct these if they're wrong, but we really should have accurate locations of where these wellheads are. There's no excuse to have them being, how far apart would these going to be here if they're not right? If we take a look at the distance here in feet from here to here.
Roger, could you give me some landmarks around it so I can figure out which proposal this
Oh,
is?
okay. Well, it's at the end of this. What's the name of this? Let me measure this first, and I'll do that. Clear.
I think this might be Piper Ridge, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is, but this is 170 feet off. Um, and that'd be a big error to know where the dioxin really is. So it's good that we get maps like this that are supposed to be more accurate, but we've got to correlate it with the actual data. So that's Eagle Point Drive tees into this parcel. So we're talking about between Little Lake. It's just north of Scioto View. So here's how you get into Scioto View. So it's this little piece of land right here between Eagle Point Drive and the Saginaw Forest.
Okay.
And these are existing buildings here and there were so it's just south of 371 Parkland Plaza.
I can't tell from this description where it is. And Bob's not on. I just looked. I don't know.
Yeah. So it'd be the next number up. So it'd be 400 Parkland Plaza. And of course, this street just got renamed here for the Scioto View development. Um, and if they're talking about moving wells, moving monitoring wells, first of all, before they are plugged, they need to be sampled. And of course, this has to be worked out with Eagle.
Mhm.
But we lost a couple here. The MW63S S and D, maybe there's an I in there too. Um, these wells had to be abandoned, and they were supposed to be replaced because they're important monitoring wells. Yeah, there's three of them there. Um, and it had detectable levels of dioxin at one point in time. Nothing since, but these are, compliance wells. And yeah, in fact, the most recent one was 2018 that we have data for. But these were abandoned and they were supposed to be replaced and they never got replaced. We don't want that to continue happening in areas where, there's dioxin right there. Um, it's in this offshoot here. Um, it's got some high levels of dioxin, and it's right through that property. So instead of just replacing it, there might be need to be more monitoring wells. There's also on this parcel what looks like temporary borings, TP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think. I would like to know if there was, in addition to soil types and things, if they did any monitoring for dioxin at those levels. Probably not because it's too shallow, but it'd be nice to know any other monitoring that went on during the development of this plan. Kind of like what happened out west to find the PFAS problem at the former Gallman site out there. Um, anyway, so this is something that just happened over the weekend and today that I found out about. So I wanted to present it and we can talk about it at a future time.
So Roger, are they going to have city water or well water?
I presume this is all city water because it's
It's
city
close.
water
City water.
to
Yeah,
here and here. Scio View had to make a special
right.
effort to get that, at least for the sewer. They were originally going to have on-site sewer treatment, and of course that would put a kibosh on that because it could shift where the plume is going. So they somehow got city sewer too. And that's a much bigger development because that goes all the way through, all the way down here to Liberty Road is all going to be developed here. There's some, and this is not a recent photograph. I mean, some of this has already been developed right in here that used to be farm fields. Anyway, that's it for that. Let me go back to the other. And that was it for the end of my thing. Oh, except for uh, we really do need to get somebody to take over the secretarial duties. It doesn't have to be one person. It can be two or three people that share the duties. And these are best notes of what she does. And how many hours a month does it take, not counting the meeting itself?
Oh, if you don't count the meeting itself, now with AI doing the minutes, an hour and a half,
Okay,
two.
it's more than that because you got
Yeah.
the meeting.
Well,
And
they said not counting the meeting.
right. And of course, with the what I did this time with the AI, what I do is I take the AI transcript, the transcript from the YouTube, and feed it to AI and say, here's the agenda, here's the here's the transcript. Do a minutes in minutes format with the using the agenda as a kind of a guideline. And it somehow rearranges things, even though it's out of sequence in the video, but it'll put things in the right place.
And I still have to go through and check spelling.
And
Um,
content.
yeah, and content and yeah.
Because some of the times AI doesn't really know who's talking. Even
Right.
though somebody is listed as being the speaker on that agenda item, somebody else might have been asking a question or making a comment during that section.
But for now, you guys are going to divvy them up amongst yourselves.
But
Right.
I've done this now for 2 or 3 months and it's getting better. Um, and I think what I'm going to do next time is ask it to not only do a summary, but if there's something important that happened, first of all, if it's more than a 5-minute discussion, make sure there's an item in the minutes about it because
Oh, that's
last
smart.
time we spent 20 or 30 minutes on a topic and sometimes it wasn't enough in the
Mhm.
minutes to reflect the importance of that time.
And that's where the human thing
Right.
comes in versus
Well,
AI.
exactly. And I spent time going through it, but the nice thing about it, when it's on YouTube, I can follow along with the minutes. I've got the transcript open and I can play the video faster than normal speed.
Mhm.
You can play it up to 2 times faster. So sometimes you can get through it in half the time. So,
Mhm.
anyway, it's a doable thing, and not many people read the minutes, but the minutes will be a record for a quick index into what's happened. And, AI can help with that too. Anyway, but garbage in, garbage out. We want to make sure that the minutes reflect what really happened, so that the review of the minutes is even if a human does it, another human can review it and add an item or two. That's why we ask uh, the board to review the minutes and make any corrections, because we get a better copy of the minutes that way. Anyway, that's it.
Hey, Roger, I had a question.
Yep.
Kathy has her hand raised too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay. Roger, that was Piper Ridge. I just texted with Bob Hyde,
Okay.
and that's going nowhere right now. It has
Yeah.
not been approved.
Yeah. But I think he wanted in case it comes back, this is what you have to do.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it later, but they're going to have to resubmit their whole site plan.
Yeah.
So this is not, you made it sound like this was something that was happening imminently, and it's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know
Well, I can
anything.
tell you it's not.
Yeah. That's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of things, the earlier we get knowledge of it, the more we can respond to it and, uh, make sure that the wrong thing doesn't happen. And so that's good that you checked on that. What's it called? Hyper Ridge?
Piper Ridge.
Okay. Can you put that in the chat so I have a record of it?
And they were requesting a conditional rezoning. There is a PUD already in place for this property,
Okay.
which they didn't want to follow. So this is going to be going on for a while.
Okay. So we'll keep it as a side thing until it pops up again.
I was going to ask Roger what you think of people paying attention to potential basement exposure over the years. If they're actually that site that you showed us was not that far from Gelman, so you go through the park and all.
Wait a minute.
I,
You mean on Google Earth here?
yeah. So if you zoom out,
Yeah.
how close is that site to Gelman's contamination?
What's on the other side of the Saginaw Forest?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's not that far, but that's a concern I think people may have if they develop closer to the Gelman site or areas that have already been found to have contamination. Um, I don't know that people are taking much interest in that, but they should.
well, uh, again, for basement, and it's got to be within 10, 20, 30 feet of the water table with dioxin in it. And that's not the case here. Even these high levels here in MW 56S, the top of the screen is 95 feet below ground. Now, what happens when the ground falls away and you're down to maybe 30 feet? So some of these people on Park Road have wells that are not that well, we don't even have the data for it. Some of these uh there's that MW 31. Like here at 46 feet, 46 to 50 feet. If you go down another 20 to 30 feet, then, that could be a problem.
Now it also could get into the creek systems and move around that way too.
Well, it's been there since the early days in the creek.
That didn't have 1-4 docks in the old days.
I mean, they had double and triple digits in the parts of the tributary when it was seeping out of the marshy area.
Mm.
But, people aren't bathing in the water and walking in it and drinking from it. The concern we had all along was that if they're discharging partially treated purge water, that could lose in certain parts of the Honey Creek and get into the groundwater. And that may have been what contributed to this shallow well here. Let me bring it up again. Where this is only, 47 feet deep well. It's possible that this could have been some from the discharge from surface water or just the plume moving through there. And this was the reason we asked for them to treat the non-detect, shoot for non-detect before they discharge to the tributary. But of course, that didn't happen when the cleanup standard got loosened to 77 and 85 parts per billion. Then, 0 to 3 didn't seem like a good plan anymore. But and so we're, but we still have here at I don't think I've got this. This is some data. Let's see if I got data for this. Yeah, I do. This is, 1 and 2 parts per billion here in the creek. Of course, they're discharging up to 6 or 7 parts per billion, so it gets diluted by the time it gets here.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, so it's an ongoing issue. If you're going to treat it all the way, and not have to deal with it. But it costs money.
Well, the issue I have too is that EPA isn't going to be working on this for a while, and unfortunately, we'll be getting worse off as we go.
Well, and the time fly. The EPA warned us about how long it takes them to do things.
Yeah.
And in the time that EPA has got involved, this has all been discovered.
Right.
So
it's moving. It's moving around.
Moving,
no
but
question.
it's not. It's moving faster than what national politics can move.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Anything else? Let's see. I was going to go back to the agenda. I'm down there. Rita?
Sorry, I was muted. I don't have anything. I didn't.
No
You
more.
wrapped it up unexpectedly quickly for me, but no non-agenda items, I don't think. I've just put out a call to the whole group. Anybody want anything to add before we adjourn? Okay, well, we have our reminder for our next card meeting will be Tuesday, November 4th. When's election?
We might be postponing that or canceling that meeting because again, not much is going to be happening. Of course, I said that around July too.
Yeah.
But
Well, we can wait and see.
This
Yeah.
quarterly meeting in December, I think we really
Yeah.
need to keep that one because that's
Okay.
when you have more people involved.
Sure.
So I would propose that we, if there's nothing urgent, that we skip the November 4th meeting and go right to get ready for the December meeting. That'll give us more time to maybe meet with money and stuff like that.
I think we have time. Why don't we just wait and see?
Yeah.
And we could send out a notice, and with a week or two in advance if it's going to be canceled.
Right.
Okay.
And something.
All right.
Something the secretary does.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. We need a secretary, that's for sure.
Anybody on screen? Let's see. Mars?
No, we don't have. No.
We need some more people, young people, to get involved.
Well, this is a light turnout for us. even
it's a
in
late month, but it was
yeah.
mostly, except for the what's going on in Washington, that I think mostly good news this time.
Mm.
You know,
Well, I think that as far as the formal meeting goes, I think we can call for an adjournment. Anyone want to move to adjourn? Then we
second.
could, okay. All in favor?
All right.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's be adjourned. If people want to chat, I think they can stay on and chat, but this
Yeah.
way the formal meeting is closed. Thank
Yeah,
you for
I'm
attending.
gonna
Have a good night, everybody.
stop the recording. Thanks, Joseph. Hey, let's talk about having children there, Joseph. I can give you lots of advice. You know, you have to have kids before if you
I
want
think
to be
he's
a
gone.
grandparent.
I think he's gone.
It's all right. You'd hear it in the video. Where's my stop share?
All right, I'm gonna see you, Roger, just you and me. Take care
All
now.
right. Thanks, Rita.
Okay, all right, thank
Bye.
you.